Doozy Podcast till the day I die.
What the fuck are you looking at? You should be watching Doozy Podcast, bruh. On God. Yup, bitch, sit on my face. I attack that.
The Doozy Podcast?
Yeah. Bro, add that in the intro, bro.
Yeah, listen to this shit. Let's see it.
You already know. Doozy.
But what was I talking about? The idea and the origin. So yeah, I had this idea since 2020. I think I tweeted something back in the day, and I said some shit like, I was like, yo, I never wanted to start a podcast so bad in my life. I tweeted that, and people were like, liking it, retweeting it. People were like, oh, that's cool. You should do it. You're a good talker. And I never thought I would do it. And then I came around, joined the guard, and I ended up getting like a big bonus from it. And I was like, bro, it's my money. I can do whatever I want with it. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm just gonna buy all the equipment. So I bought the camera, I bought the little microphone, I bought all the microphones. Dude, I probably dropped like a good, I wouldn't say specifically, but it's over $2,000. For sure. But it's definitely been something that I've wanted to do for such a long time. And even though it's a little slow now, this is something I can see myself doing like in the long run. If that makes sense. So I can be like 5, 6, 7 years from now, and I would hope that I'm still like, yo, want to sit down and record a podcast, like,
right? Because
you never know. It just takes one video just to get like enough attention, right. And then people were like, oh man, I really fuck with you, blah blah blah, and they're like, I like the way you say this, the way you think this way, and like I just fuck with you heavy, and I'm like, all right, cool, like,
right.
I'm glad we're on the same page. You know what I'm saying? So right. That happened, and then the origin of the poster. So when we were recording our first time, me and my friends back in the day was like September. So yeah, when we came back from JRTC, September of last year. Freaking, I was like, yeah, let's start doing like test podcasts. Like, let's start. What's that noise?
Firefighters, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta go. Like Spider-Man. Put the mask on. Yeah. You ever seen that video with the fire truck like driving, and there's like a person in a Spider-Man costume and a motorcycle right behind him?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's what I just thought of.
When I was stationed out here, like I would always hear sirens go off like every like 5 to 15 minutes. Like, oh,
you're going just at work, and all of a sudden you're just like, you're just like, oh fuck.
I remember walking like in the middle of a 7-Eleven out here, and they were arresting some dude. Like it looked like they just got done with a car chase, and I had to be back at the base in like 15 minutes. So like I was just trying to slide through their little like Mexican standoff. Like, hey, that's cool, but I really need to get this hot dog, man.
Can you make it? Can you double time this shit? Like I gotta go.
The cops look so pissed off. They're like, dude, what the fuck? But I was thinking like, dude, fuck, just shoot him. I gotta go. like I don't know what he did, but fuck this guy. Like
that's funny as shit. No, but for the origin of so we're gonna record one day, and I was just like, hey, let's start getting like practice videos in. And it wasn't even for, I mean, I still have them like so I can post them and shit, so I can kind of show everyone like this is where we started and how like how shitty like these podcasts were at the beginning. But I mean, I think if you do enough, you start getting like more used to it. So I was like, let's just put the camera on, let's just set up all the equipment, and let's just send it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we can talk about. And we ended up recording, and then I just remember telling them, like, one of my friends was just like, yo, like, do we even have a logo? And I was like, fuck, we don't. And my brother, the one that does, he's gonna do the merch, and he's the one that did the actual Doozy Podcast logo. I told him he's an artist, and I was like, yo, can you like brew something up real quick on the fly? Right. So I gave him that piece of canvas back there and a Sharpie, and I was like, dude, what you like, we're gonna record in the next 30 minutes. Like, do whatever you think like it'll be like, just do like what comes to mind, like what comes naturally. Right. And I was like, whatever you do, we'll send it. Like that'll be the new podcast logo. Mm-hmm. And I was like, not to put all the pressure on him, but I was like, you're that guy. Right. Like you're the man. Let's do it. So he sat in front of us, and he just started making it. And then I'll put it on the podcast too, but there's there's a picture we took prior to before he like filled it in and stuff, and it was like the original template of like how the Doozy Podcast logo looked, and then he started filling it in, and then once he showed it to us, like because we didn't like try to like look at it too much, we were like kind of practicing on the mic or whatever, and then once we looked at it, I was like, bro, that's perfect. Like you just you can
It's really that loud?
yeah, I can hear it.
I totally forgot.
But
Those noises remind me like the way Vietnamese people like can I get the like they always do like the like
bro, it was funny.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. But
imagine that stupid noise you guys make in fucking drill, dude. Like
yeah. Oh, that was Jared to see. Yeah, I started doing that in Irwin. I'll tell the story about that too. But
like I'll just be laying down, like and Steph's
bro.
probably just be talking about like, yeah, do the machine gun this, and I don't know where you're like, no, and
you're trying to like keep your composure and put the weapon together, and you hear people in the back going,
yeah.
oh my god, dude. No, but yeah, he just brewed it up, and I looked at it and I was like, bro, this is it. Like this is what we're gonna rock with. And ever since then, that's what we used. And we did some editing, and then we made it to the sticker. And obviously, you bought some, and a lot of people too. Shout out to everyone that bought one. But yeah, that's how like the Doozy logo became a logo, and now that's like the OG canvas in the back of the Doozy thing. And maybe in the future, maybe it's not. Maybe I shouldn't do it, but like I wish I could go give it to someone. Like us, like someone that. Like if I do like a raffle or some shit, like hey, buy a raffle ticket, blah, 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 like let's get a fucking. Let's like anyone can just win this canvas, and then one lucky winner, I'll pull it out like on Instagram Live or something. But like you just won the original Doozy Podcast canvas, you know? That'd be some crazy shit. And then they'll just hang it in their house, and they'll be like, "Yep, they got famous or whatever," and it's right there. And I have the first one, and we'll all sign it too. Like me and my brother will sign it. We started this podcast group with 4 people, and one of them. Just personal complications. He just was doing his own thing, and like we're no longer friends now. But I mean, I wish him the best. Obviously, I hope that he's doing good, despite all the drama and bullshit that we went through. I don't believe in hate. I just feel like like people don't deserve to be in your life if they kind of just step out. There's reasoning behind it. Like let them step out. Like maybe if I was like 18, 19, 17, I'll be like, man,
fuck you.
That's my friend, man. You can't do that. But now, like, since I'm older and I've just been through enough shit, I'm just like, if they step out, there's a reason why they're stepping out of my life. I'm gonna let that happen, you know. And if they come around, we'll deal with it then. But nah, some shit happened. So he's doing his own thing. You know, wish him the best. And then my other friend Armani, he just does his own shit. He works. He's doing his own music. Shout out to him. But I don't want to like bombard him with like a whole podcast shit. That was the funniest shit when fucking Fly was doing that, because we're in the bay, and he was just like, gotta do you, and then all of a sudden it was like he would be like across the fucking room. He'd be like, gotta do you.
See, the entire time we were at Fort Polk, like I'd either hear somebody in the background go gotta do you, or
and I'm just like, oh, because we all slept in the same bay, and we were in there with first platoon, and then we're just like across the side. So every time I was like sleeping in the middle, and every time I'd just be laying down, I go, oh, they'll be doing like briefs, and I'd be like, look, and then they'll like look back, and then look for it, and I go, look, bro. They would like start laughing, bro, and they just would start doing it too. I would hear like Nunley and them go like, look, and I'm like, bro. It's like traveling like a wildfire, bro. I'm such a bad influence, but
dude, you should try to do it at like battalion meetings, so that way it spreads to other companies, so that way they can never pinpoint the source of where it started. Like the kids would be, all right, who the fuck said that? Like,
bro, I was in Irwin and we were doing like this mission, and it was like super late. This correlates with the story about the box witch,
the shadows,
the shadow people in Fort Irwin. But I was out there and we're laying down, and it was like 2 a.m. You know, people on guard shift or whatever. And then me and this other dude, you know, his last name was Dickin, one of the funniest motherfuckers I've ever met in my life. This dude and I were like laying down, and he was like addicted to like doing the good, and he would do it like a lot. And our squad leader's name was I think Sergeant Ball, and he was like sleeping, just racked out, fucking snoring like a bear. And we're on top of this hill. It's windy. And I remember we're just laying down, and we're just like, we got the giggles. It's like 2 a.m. We got the giggles, and we're just fucking laughing. And then he just starts going, ugh, ugh. And then Sergeant Ball wakes up, and he's just like, what the fuck's that noise? And then Dickin and I like put our heads down, and we're like pretending we're sleeping. And he's like, who's making that fucking noise? And then I was like trying my best not to
sleep,
fucking laugh. And all of a sudden, like when Sergeant Ball starts like turning the bed down, he goes like, oh my god, bro! Sergeant Ball like literally came out with like his fucking flashlight, and was like checking everyone if they're sleeping. And I'm just like trying to play it off, and bro, that was the funniest shit. And I was on guard shift for Dickin.
Yeah.
So if we were like laughing our asses off when we have to go to sleep, just imagine when we have to pull security, like protect everyone and like watch, like pull security, watch the MSR, make sure people are not pulling up on us.
I mean, that's better than the alternative, because if you don't talk for the entire shift, you fucking fall asleep.
Yeah, no, you want someone that you can like, do 20 seconds of your life of just like looking out, grab the pads, look through, put it down, and then you just sit down and be like, yo, remember that when we were at the hill? And just talk shit.
Yeah.
Bro, you would stay up all fucking night. And next thing you know, you look at your watch and it'll be like, your shift will be over. Yeah. And you'd be like, oh shit. Like, that's it.
Yeah,
like, all right, let's go to bed. Or my boy Armani. Yeah, he works, I think, graveyard, but he works like a late shift, so he would never like make it. So I respectfully told him, I was like, hey man, like, we have like different things going on in our lives, and obviously this is something I'm trying to pursue and do for some time, like a side hobby. Right. So like, don't even worry about it. Like, obviously I would hope that you support the cause, like support the vision still. But I'm gonna keep going forward, but you keep going forward with your life too. Like, I'm not trying to bombard you with this podcast, Right. And he was like, oh cool, man. Like, like he apologized and shit like that, but I was just like, nah man, like you're good, bro, don't worry about it. We're getting to that point of it, like in our lives where like, dude, you just gotta like, it's basically you're on your own type shit. Like, yeah, it's not seeing each other every weekend and partying like we used to do back in the day. Now it's like going to work for like 4 or 5 weeks straight, and then maybe a weekend come through, which is super cool because he's at like, I know we're recording right now, but I'm actually recording tomorrow too, another podcast. So I have back-to-back episodes. So I have a lot of work to do this week about editing and stuff, and I'm the only one that edits, which I enjoy. Like, I actually enjoy sitting down and staying up to like 2-3 in the morning editing videos. Like, I actually enjoy doing that shit. Right. So this is something I'm looking forward to. But I told him tomorrow, I was like, yeah, I have some of the boys are coming through, and we're gonna drink and hang out. Like, if you want to come through. And he was like, yeah. So it's kind of cool nowadays, like now how you don't see your friends for a while. Yeah, you don't. And then you just link up with them after like a couple months. It's like, dude, like, how you been, bro? Like, let's drink a beer. Like, we're at that point now where, like I said, you just don't see your boys as often. And then when you do, you're just like, bro, like, what's up, bro? Like, let's go to a bar, dude. Let's go do something. It's just cool vibes. And I just went to Vegas with him like 2 weekends ago. We were there for a bachelor party. It was my first time doing like a bachelor party type thing. And we got fucking wasted, and it was a good time. Went swimming. We recorded some cool clips and shit like that maybe one day I can put on the podcast, like more of like a different content. Not like podcasting, but like vlogs in a way. Yeah. Just kind of trying to incorporate that into the YouTube channel. But a lot of cool stuff happened. So when I hit him up, I was like, dude, I'm recording tomorrow. Do you want to come through? He was like, yeah, bro. Like, I'll come through tomorrow. And I was like, all right, for sure. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool. But I can't believe, like, that's how you know when we're getting older is when
you can't catch each other every
other weekend anymore. It's like once every 2 months, maybe that.
And even then you gotta plan weeks in advance. Just
exactly.
And then I
gotta call off, bro. I gotta call off. Like, that's a thing now. Like, before it was like, hey, I ain't doing shit. Slide through. Like, yeah, let me pull up to your house. All right, bro. Now it's just like, yeah, bro, I got something to do this weekend, and I don't got enough time off for next weekend. The weekend after that, like, let me know so I can go call off the end of next month. Right. Like, damn, bro. Like, all right, I'll see you in 40 days. Like, it's like that now, bro. Which, like I said, we're growing up. Something that I'm still getting used to. That's when, like, sometimes when I wake up, I'm just like, damn, bro, I ain't doing shit today.
It must be weird for you from active duty too, because in active duty, you're basically around your friends every single day. That's
like been one of my downfalls, I guess. Not really being a civilian in a way, but like getting out of active duty and like moving out here, with my brother and my best friend, living in this apartment. Yeah, like, they're my friends. They're my best friends. Like, I consider them, one of them actually my blood brother, but the other one's like my actual brother too. But like that barracks life, that like you seeing the same people, like, fuck, I don't know how to explain it, but just that brotherhood. Yeah, there's just two different types. Like, I mean, not even like respectfully, like being out there in Irwin or Hood or Korea, like whatever, like that brotherhood is just that's like built, like it's built different. Like
Right.
you fall in love with that brotherhood, and once you get pulled from that situation, it kind of sucks, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and I still struggle with that. And then and I was talking with my girlfriend, and then she was just like, I feel like you're still you're still getting used to like being a civilian. Like you're like, I
Right.
feel like she's like, I feel a lot of the times that you struggle mentally, like you're just bored, you're just like, you think this, you think that, is because like you're just like, you're not doing anything at the moment, and like you miss that brotherhood.
Yeah.
And then when I read that, I was like you're right. Like
Yeah.
it just sucks, like it's just not the same, and it's just something I have to get used to. That's why I'm telling her, like, I need a fucking job.
Right.
And like I live good through BAH, like through the GI Bill and stuff.
Yeah.
Shout out the GI Bill, but nah, like that's why I look forward to like drills and going out to see you guys, and like
Right.
we have the drill coming up in like 2-3 weeks from now.
Yeah, in August.
And like I'm looking forward to that just because
I am too.
like you get to see the boys for a little bit, like
Yeah.
us kicking it with Palayo or Nunley and going seeing Sergeant Stevens and seeing all those guys. Like that's a good time. Like
Yeah,
I
because
love,
you just get to shoot the shit. You
just shoot the
bat.
shit with the boys for even if it's just 2 days. It's like it's more than that'll like keep me sane for
Right.
for another month. Because
It feels like daily life. It feels like everything is like just business as usual. Everything is about business. Making money.
Exactly,
I gotta go
yeah.
get my degree. And it feels like once you complete something, you're on to the next thing. And it's like, okay, what do I have to do next? And it constantly just feels like you're in a state of going 100 miles per hour, and you never just slow down.
you just never slow down. Like I lived off that. Like that's like I crave just like being on the fly.
Right.
That's why like maybe that's why I'm not even trying to brag or like hype myself up, but that's probably why like I excel so much in the job that we do in the military, is just because like you're just always on the fly, especially when
Right.
we're out there in JRTC or if we're out there training at at the camps. We're just like doing our own thing. They're like, hey, Rivera, I need you to do this, do that. I'm like, boom, 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 getting shit done, and I'm not like the best motherfucker out there, but at least I always try to give them 110%, especially when it comes to like battle drills or doing shit like that. And
Yeah.
I always try to do my best and like put my name out there. So they're like, when they look at me, they're like, yeah, and like homeboy went off.
Yeah.
He actually like led that squad and they did what they were supposed to do. And look
Yeah.
at them now, like. So that's why I look forward to that. I just like being on the fly, like being like, that's like I said, that's probably why I excel so much in the infantry. It's just because it's always like you're
Constant action.
always doing something. Like we'll go from training and then we'll go to like what we did last year, railhead. Hey, we need you to go unhook 300 pounds of sea wire and go over here and do railhead and go attach this to this clamp and get the shackles. Like you're just on the fly, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it sucks because it's like 110 degrees and it's like 90% humidity, but I'll do it,
Yeah.
But right when I go home, there's nothing wrong with that. I go home, relax, I'm just in the bed. I'm like, what else do I need to do? I threw out the trash.
Right.
I vacuumed like my 7th time this week. I mopped like the 4th time. The dishes are washed and put away. The clothes are dry. I cleaned the patio. Like, what do I do now? And then I start going fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah.
like, who wants to hang out this weekend? And everyone's like, oh, I got work, blah, blah. All right, well, that goes that. All right, time to go play games. And then I get tired of the games. I'm just like, bro, like, now I'm at the point where, bro, I need a fucking job or something,
Yeah.
before I go fucking crazy. And that's what sucks, just transitioning.
It kind of just feels like in civilian life, there's just an extreme amount of inactivity compared to what you had in the military. Because in the
Yeah.
military, it's a constant state of doing something. Versus in the civilian life, it's just a constant state of monotony of like, what do I do
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
And
It's
everything is just repetitive. I feel it's just weird because I feel like things in the military are repetitive, but at least you have people you're constantly around who kind of make it worthwhile. Because it's funny,
Yeah.
it feels like in a way civilian life is easier. Physically, it's not as hard. Yet psychologically, it feels harder in a way because you're just out there doing things on your own.
Yeah, I just saw something on Facebook, which I rarely use, but it was something like, I don't miss the circus. I just miss the performances or
The
something.
clowns, yeah.
The clowns, like I don't miss the
Miss
circus.
the clowns, not the circus.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Yeah, just the clowns, but I don't miss like the actual circus itself. I just miss the
Right.
clowns that When I read that, I was like, that's like one of the best ways to put it. It's like,
Right. Yeah.
it's like people would say all the time is like, you just enjoy, like the people, the friends, the subordinates, the leaders,
The tribe.
The tribe is what makes it fun, like makes it.
Yeah.
And then once you pull away from that, you're just like, fuck, what else do I do? 'Cause I'm still in that state of mind where I'm like, I still need to not really find myself, but find reasons to stay occupied and not fucking beat myself up for absolutely nothing. Like I feel like I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. I feel like I'm actually, for once, like doing something right with my life in a way.
Yeah.
But it's just like, there's a lot of shit I gotta fucking do, and when I don't do anything at all, it's just like I just get caught up in my own fucking self, my own head.
Right,
like
yeah.
I'm beating myself up for what? Like he's saying this, he's saying that, he feels this way, but like I mean, I have a home, I have a roof over my head, my dog and my best friend. I live with my best friends. I have a car, a decent looking car. You know, I have a fucking decent computer. Like everything in this room and everything that I have now, like I earned. It wasn't given to me. Like I fucking earned my shit. So I feel like I'm doing something right with my life. But just for some reason at the end of the day, I'm like, nah. Like one thing I keep saying to myself all the time is do better. Like I always say do better. But I keep I keep getting mad at myself. Good. I keep saying do better, but in reality, like I am already doing better, if that makes sense. So it's that transition, like you said, like that transition from active to being a civilian it's rough, man. Like I as much as like I want to like be like it's not bad, like anyone could do it, bro. I'm going through it, like it sucks, bro.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's alright though. I'll get used to it.
Yeah.
But that's why this is why I'm doing podcasting, just because so people can understand that like they're not alone, especially people who are like coming from active and the people who watch the podcast or people who are not military but are like wondering like, damn, homeboy used to do this shit for a while. Now he's at home doing podcasting. Like, how does he really feel? And you know, that's me explaining to people out there. It's like, it sucks. But it's just something you just have to get used to, and I'm learning like throughout the way. And I have like a really, really, really good support system from all my friends from fucking Fort Hood, from Irwin, my friends and family, my significant other. I feel like everyone's like very supportive, and like I appreciate everyone for like being there for me, you know. So I can't really be like, do better, or you're a piece of shit, or I fucking hate myself. You know, deep down, I'm doing something, you know. It's just gonna take some time. That's why I'm in school, to be a firefighter. And I think once that gets going, because that's like a whole different brotherhood. I think once I start doing that, I'll be set. I think mentally, physically, I'll just be like, I'll be exactly where I want to be, you know. So it's just like a build up process.
Well, on the subject of that, like back when you were on active duty, like what were your aspirations back then? Like, oh, what were your plans of like, I feel like everyone should have a plan of like, when I get out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get a job. Like where did you want to be like after you got out? You know
Honestly, it sounds super funny, but a lot of the shit that I'm in now, not a lot of the shit, but excuse me, a lot of the shit that I am now, it was very like last second. Like me being in the military period, that was a very last second option. Yeah. I actually wanted to go to school and be a therapist.
Oh shit.
Which is super, and not before, before that, I wanted to be a preschool teacher. So I was going through like a whole different phase of like, I just want to do this, do that. But I shout out to my parents. I love my parents very much, but I feel like I was just like struggling mentally just being home, I guess. I'm just young teenager, fucking stupid, doing dumb shit. And was just sad, you know, just like simple teenager shit. Yeah. Which is, you know, common, and it's very understandable nowadays. You just, you know, but I was just like, I need to get out of here, and like, you know, not like much respect to them, but it wasn't like on them. It was just like, I feel like what do they say? Like, I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly. Like I feel like I needed to fly so bad. Yeah. At a young age, which, you know, like people were like, no, like enjoy your time now with your family. You know, stay there as much as you can. Blah blah blah. Like, as soon as 18 came around, like as soon as I turned 18, I was like, how can I get out of here? Like, how can I fly? You know, like how can I fly? So I was in college, but you know, money is tight, especially in my family, and military was an option. I did 4 years of ROTC.
Wow, I would have never expected you to be the type, dude. Because
I did 4 years of general ROTC, and I wasn't really good academically, but that's just like that slight brotherhood in ROTC. Yeah, was just kind of enjoyable. So I was like, I could do this in like an actual military aspect, I guess. Right. And all my friends were doing it, and I was just like, bro, I'm just gonna commit to it. So I started like working out. I started running. I went from like 10-minute 1 miles, And before I left for basic training, I ran a 5:15.
Oh fuck.
I was running like almost 4-minute 1 miles. Like I
Dude,
was
that's
just
really good.
yeah. So I enjoy running, and I was like, I'm just commit to this. And I joined was like I was like the top 10 runners in my like basic training thing. Like if there's 200 people in basic training, I was like 9 or 8.
Oh,
Like top.
shit.
Like I was
Yeah.
running 12:05 2 miles. And shit. Like yeah, I was a fucking stud, bro. Now it's a different story, but I mean we're just growing up.
Yeah.
But I was like so committed to it, and so yeah, like military was such like a last second thing. I just remember it was that year I left for military, 2016, was the same year I enlisted. Like I remember like telling my dad, I was like, I have a picture of it too. It was like a simple text. I was just like, I decided to join the military. My dad said, like, okay, like do it then. You know, like
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
like, it wasn't like I'm proud of you, son. I'm not saying that's how we were supposed to go about it,
Yeah.
but he was like, okay, and I was like, I don't think they think I'm being serious. Like,
Yeah.
And then I started running and stuff like that, and and they're just like, all right, do what you want to do. And I actually end up doing it, and they're like, oh shit, he actually did it.
Yeah.
And so that was very last second, and I wasn't even supposed to be in the infantry. I was supposed to be a Calf Scout. I chose to be a
fuck?
Calf Scout coming in, but they said my vision was not too good,
Really?
and they're like, yeah, you didn't pass vision and blah blah blah. I mean, obviously I passed vision to join, but I guess specifically for that job, and I had like that 1, 2, 3 list of what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Third was MP, but second was infantry.
Oh, dude! Imagine if you were an MP. Your
Yeah, I
life would be
would've-
completely different, right?
Yeah,
now.
dude, I wouldn't. I don't think we would be recording.
Yeah,
because
no.
I wouldn't even know you because I wouldn't go with infantry. I would be in a reserve unit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I end up doing infantry, and they're like, they were just like, that's a tough job. That's what you want to do, and I was like, yes. And they're like, what do your parents think you're gonna do? And I was like, Calf Scout, and they're like, you should call them, let them know this is what
Yeah.
you're gonna do. Like, this is a different ballpark.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it that bad? Like, is it? And then they're like, no, it's just like you're joining the infantry. Like, this is what you want to do. Yeah. So I ended up like talking to my parents about it. My dad was more like, where's the paper? Let me sign it. Like he was just,
You were
just,
17 at the time then.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
my mom was just like, no, like I don't want you doing that. It was like a long talk with my family about what I wanted to do, but it came down to, hey, this is what he wants to do. If he doesn't enjoy it, that's on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I ended up enjoying it and like actually fucking like liking what I chose, and I actually don't regret whatsoever like becoming an infantryman or actually coming or like approaching this route. Like I love that I came. This is my journey. Like I'm glad this is the journey I chose.
Yeah.
There's so many different journeys I could have chose, different jobs, different approaches I could have joined the military, but I chose this one, and I feel like this fits me like the most perfect it could have like fit me.
Right.
So when you say like what were your aspirations, what were your goals coming in, like I said, military was like my I didn't even think about military. It was just like, fuck, I just want to get out of here. I'll just do military. Last second shit. And the whole firefighting thing, I didn't know I wanted to become or go to school to become a firefighter till like I was a month or 2 months out from getting out of active duty.
Oh, shit.
I didn't have a plan. The goal was, obviously I wanted to go to school because do the GI Bill and make some cash, maybe work a side job, but I didn't know what I wanted to go to school for.
Right.
And then I started like, asking questions and getting to know some stuff. And then I understood like firefighting was a tough job, but also like a very rewarding one too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I just want to live a life where like everything I have or where I'm at is I earned. It wasn't given to me.
Right.
So like joining the army, especially the infantry, I earned that.
Mhm.
I earned that title. I earned that rank. Like I've been in that situation. Now it's firefighting. I don't want shout out to people who do fast food or do other jobs. Like shout out to everyone that works. But I want to do something that like I'll say like it's not an easy route. Like I want to earn my title as a firefighter. I want to do this. And so that's why I decided. I was like, yeah, I need to keep that like that flow going,
Mhm.
like that brotherhood. And I feel like firefighting is like a good route. And
Right.
people were hurting for firefighters, and a good reason why I kind of chose firefighting too is because when I was stationed in Irwin, it was like 2019, 2020, I think. I was in a really, really bad car accident, like literally the second day of leave, Christmas leave.
Fuck.
And I was like, I'm gonna have a good leave. I was going through a little fucking rut. I deleted all my social media. I was like, I'm gonna stay off my phone, and I'm just gonna enjoy the moment, like just enjoy friends and family, And the second day of leave, I got T-boned like on one of the expressways like by my house. Wrecked my fucking car. Wrecked my car. My friends were in there. My brother was in there too. It was a 2012 Honda Civic. Just completely wrecked. Like, people, if you know, you know. That was a tough time. I was just like, bro, like, my life is already in shambles. And now my car is fucking in shambles. I was like, bro, how, like, that was, like, rock bottom for me. Like, I've been through rock bottom so many times. But that was, like, you know that SpongeBob episode where they're, like, the guy that would talk to you, like, so where's your ticket? Yeah. I was there, bro. I was there trying to get a fucking ticket. Like, trying to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And it was just fucking rough, man. And when I was at, you know, obviously when we got in the car accident, the first people there were actually fucking firefighters.
Yeah.
And then, like, the police weren't there, like paramedics. It was just like firefighters, like a fire truck pulled up.
Yeah.
They, you know, obviously they're EMT qualified, so they came out and they're helping us out. They were super supportive. You know, I was like, you know, I want to say like, especially in this profession, I don't want to say like I'm a pacifist, but like, I always like try to avoid conflict, I guess you could say. So, when I got in that car accident, like, my brother was a little hurt. My friends were hurt. One of my friends that was sitting in the passenger seat, and I'm getting like a pretty good gash in his forehead, and he was like, you could see like inside his fool's fucking head. Oof. And I was like, dude, like, this dude, I don't know why that dude like drove in front of us and fucked us up, but I was like in a like fight or flight mode. Mm-hmm. So I like ended up getting out of my car, and I was like fucking hurt. My arm was like all jacked up. The gunpowder from the airbags like blew up my fucking arm and like my face. Oh, shit. So I was all like burnt and cut up and shit like that. And I was like, the first thing I did was start walking to the dude that hit me, and I was like cussing him out. And of course, people like saw the accident, so people were getting out of their car like, "Sir, you need to get away from him." And I was like cussing him out, like, "Bro, you're a fucking idiot."
Yeah.
I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Look at my friends right now. Like, what you fucking did." And he was like, "You're driving too fast, man." He was just trying to find ways. I was like, if I wasn't so hurt, I probably went over there and tried to beat his ass or something. But at that moment, I was like, no, I know, like, I mean, in a way, like, I know I'm in the right, so I need to just keep that status before I lay this dude out and I can't get reimbursed, you know, whatsoever. So I was like, let me, like, collect myself. Let me go find out if my friends are good. Call my parents, let them know that I'm, like, down the street in the worst car accident right now. Not the worst, but a bad car accident.
Right.
And this is the situation. And then I ended up doing that. And I was talking to the firefighters, and they were helping us out, but they were like super cool, super supportive. And I was like, dude, I could see myself doing something like this for a living.
Right.
And it's so funny because one day I was hanging out with my friend Armani, and we're by his house. We're picking up some beers. We're just going to go hang out and drink. And there was a fire truck at the gas station, and they were just chilling, smoking cigarettes, shooting the shit. And it was the same firefighters that pulled up to that scene that day I got in the car accident. And I was like, I was leaving, and I was telling my friend Armani, I was like, let me ask these guys one question. I didn't know those were the dudes until I talked to them. Right. And I was like, hey, how's it going, guys? I'm in the military, and I get out in a couple months, and I was just trying to get like a quick input of like what you guys think of firefighting. Mm-hmm. And one of the dudes, you know, all firefighters have fucking mustaches. Of course. He like looked at me. He's like, weren't you the fucking cat that got in the car accident last year? And I looked at him, and I was like, yeah, what? He's like, weren't you the dude that got in the car accident? And I was like, yeah. And he was like,
it'd been a whole year you ran into the same
fuck
guys?
Yeah. And he was just like, yeah, like, that's me. And he was like, oh, he said, so you just got in a car accident, now you want to be a firefighter? And I was like, yeah, pretty much. And then he was like, dude, you should do it, man. And the guy was asking me like, what do you what's your rank? What do you do? And I'm like, I'm a sergeant in the infantry. And they looked at each other like, yeah, you'll be all right. And I was like, oh yeah, like, I'll do it. So that was like a good, like that was like pretty much like the cherry on top of me becoming a firefighter, or me wanting to become a firefighter. So like, to your question, everything that I choose to do, especially like not like everything, but everything, like especially military or firefighting, it's so like last second. Yeah. It's not something I've been like, I wasn't like 8 years old, like drawing pictures of firefighters. I wasn't like in a firefighter costume when I was like 9, like, this is what I want to be, you know? No, like literally.
I think in a way it's better that way because you actually experience for yourself why you want to do what you want to do. Because like when an 8-year-old kid is like, oh, I want to be a doctor, it's like, bitch, how do you know that? Like, come on. Like, motherfucker, tell me what. Like, obviously I'm not going to tell a kid that. But like, yeah. Like, when it, like, for example, I remember when Modern Warfare 2 came out.
Good fucking game.
Yeah, godlike game.
I got in so much trouble playing that game.
Yeah, me too.
Me just yelling out like, you fucking asshole. My mom would be like, hey, yeah, turn off the game.
I feel like we were all 12, 13 years old. We're yelling racial slurs we should have never said. Shout out Martin Luther King. I'm sorry, Martin Luther King.
Yeah, we would have been canceled for sure. I hope those those lobby conversations never get leaked in my lifetime because. But anyways, you're saying when Modern Warfare 2 came out.
So like when I was going through basic training in 2015, my drill sergeants were telling me the amount of like fucking Army Ranger contracts that were like option 40 contracts for the civilians who don't know. When you go into the Army, there's different like military occupational specialty codes. The standard infantry code is 11 Bravo. Then there's 11 Charlie. Those are like the guys who do mortars. Those are basically like small cannons that launch like bombs, I guess, if you will.
Artillery.
And then there's
indirect.
like 11 X-ray. That's like open contract, so it could be
either or. Yeah, that's what I went into the Army as, 11 X-ray.
Right.
And now they're like, you can be a Chuck or you're gonna be a Bravo. And I was like, I mean, I don't really have a preference. I didn't even know what they fucking were at first.
Right.
And then, end up being like 11 Bravo, which is maybe a little better. But
Right.
I mean, are you a Bravo? You're a Bravo, right?
No, I'm still 91 Bravo, dude.
Oh, you haven't.
So
you haven't MOS queued.
I was supposed to go to infantry school in May 1st. And I was originally supposed to jump on the 118 Cav deployment.
What is it right now? July 21st?
Yeah. So a week and a half before I went, I called up our leadership. I'm not going to say who. It's not his fault, by the way. I'm just keeping him private just to protect him. I'm like, hey, Staff Sergeant, am I good to go for the school?
He says Staff Sergeant.
Then he's all like...
that narrowed down the...
We're going to censor that.
Staff Sergeant who's 36 and lives in Corona.
Come on, man. If you know, you know, dude.
Go ahead.
So he called me up. He's like, yeah, dude, the state ran out of budget. We're not sending anyone to school. So everyone who was supposed to go to like BLC or any other school couldn't go. Then I couldn't go. So that fucked me out of the deployment. So, but anyway, going back on it, I guess like when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 came out, the influx of Marine Corps contracts was like way fucking high.
Because everyone wanted to be, they play games and be like, I want to do that.
Right. And then when Modern Warfare 2 came out, the Army Ranger contracts were going like fucking sky high.
Yeah, I can't believe that. Like, shout out, Call of Duty, of course.
Yeah.
Because I still play it to this fucking day. But I can't believe like it influenced
a whole
people, like a whole generation of kids growing up. Like, yo, like, you could literally, you're literally playing the game, but if you turn 18, you can actually do this if you really wanted to.
Right.
I mean, you can't just join the infantry and expect, that right away. But like, like you said, like the option 40, the Ranger contracts, like that's, you have to earn that fucking like that, that tambourine or some shit. Like if you go to bat and people were like, I see it in the game, now I want to do it in real life. Yeah. And then you got motherfuckers like who went from 15, 16, 17 years old playing games and they turn 18, 19, they go to Ranger bat. Right. And then they get deployed and possibly do shit like that on the in real life.
Right.
I can't believe like it influenced that much. I wasn't influenced by COD. That wasn't really the reason I joined the military, but definitely they would always say to my family is like, oh, why did Kiki do, like he joined the military, good for him, but like why do you do infantry? And my mom would always be like, because you played too much Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's what they'll say.
Nah, it was like last second. Even she knows like that wasn't. I didn't even want to do infantry at first. I want to be a fucking Cav Scout.
Yeah, that's
been
fucking
a pogue,
crazy.
and then they're like, you didn't make the cut. I didn't make the cut to be a Cav Scout.
Yeah.
All right, y'all fucked up. Yeah, they fucked up. Cav Scout could have had a fucking legend.
I'm kind of surprised if I said you couldn't do Cav Scout because I was always thinking like the requirements for Cav Scout.
It might be less.
Infantry would be like less
demanding than an infantry.
Right.
Yeah, I would think so too. So when they told me that, I was just like, "What do you mean I didn't make a Cav? Like, what do you mean I can't be this job? Right. And then they're like, "Yeah, vision." I don't know if they were just saying that. I don't know. Like, it could have been anything. I'm gullible 18-year-old kid or 17 at the time. They're like, "You can't do that." I'd have been like, "Okay." My ass back then would have been like, "But why?" Like I wasn't like that. Now I'm just like, when, why, what, how, like now I'm like that now, but they're like, yeah, you can join the infantry. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. They're like, call your mom. What? Call your mom. I was like, what's going to happen? The second I was in basic, that's when, I think that's when Trump got elected and they're like, we're going to war. We're going to war. And I was like, what did I do? Yeah. I'm still gullible. My first time ever seeing someone throw a dip in was in basic training. I didn't know what the fuck was in this dude's mouth at first. I was like, why is his lip like abnormal?
Right.
And it was like spitting a cup all the time. I was like, what the fuck is it? It's brown.
Right.
And then I had to find one of my boys who's like, definitely seen dip, probably dipped like right before he came to basic. He was like, that's dip, brother.
Yeah.
I was like, the fuck is dip?
Yeah.
My voice changing. What the fuck is dip?
Yeah, I'd never actually seen it until I joined the military too. Like, I feel like more than half the military is like country boys, but then you got the other half who are straight up from like California. It's like country boys versus California, and that's
exactly,
like the entire military.
bro. They're like, "Where you from?" "Oh, I'm from Tennessee. Fucking born and raised in Nashville." "Where you from?" "Oh, I'm from Cali." Yeah, we knew that already. Like,
Yeah.
You like In and Out? They just like shit on you. Then that's like such a true statement. Is like, you're either from, not even West Coast, East Coast. You're either from the East Coast or you're from Cali.
Cali, yeah.
And maybe like if you're not from Cali, you're from Texas.
Yeah.
Like those are the two places.
The Republic of Texas, baby.
Yeah, like they're just saying that was like a common thing was, oh yeah, I'm from Tennessee, I'm from Nashville, I'm from Georgia,
Yeah.
I'm from Peachtree, and then where you from? Oh, I'm from Riverside. Yeah, whatever. What? Like you like that's just basically.
And then they're like, oh, so like LA, and you're like, yeah,
yeah,
LA.
sure. Like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of close to it. Like,
Yeah.
sure. Like, wow, you guys fucking suck, and the Chargers suck, and the Raiders suck,
Yeah.
and you're fucking trash. In and Out's trash. You're like,
Yeah, it's like,
everything about that is true except the Chargers. Chargers actually not that bad.
what? You're not enough fan?
No, actually, I take that back before I
Yeah.
get fucking clowned
Yeah,
on.
dude, you're gonna get.
Let me
crucified
get
out here.
canceled. No, I actually like In and Out a lot, but hear me out.
Over Whataburger?
No, Whataburger is 100% better than In and Out. I'm sorry. Cancel me now.
Ooh.
Go in the comments, say I'm a piece of shit. No, I think Whataburger is better than In and Out.
Why is that? For all the Californians out there, so
Yeah.
they know. Here's the thing, dude. You might not think it's a big deal now, but 5 years from now, they might go back to this podcast and be like, "Oh, this guy hates fucking."
Yeah,
In-N-Out."
I honestly lost an In and Out sponsorship just because just because I said that. In and Out will never sponsor Doozy Podcast just because I said that. No, shout out In and Out, love In and Out, but my preference, I would choose Whataburger over In and Out. Maybe it's just because it's cheap. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's not cheap.
Yeah, nah.
Mr. Krabs, I don't know, man. I just think I think the burgers are better, and I mean, shout out In and Out fries, but I think I'm gonna be honest. I think a big asset to why I think Whataburger is so much better is because of spicy ketchup. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Because I was out there for 2.5 weeks at El Paso, and then I had it. I was like, okay. I'm like, okay.
You're like, okay, it's
Yeah.
it's all right. Like I see why people kind of.
Right.
But obviously, from that tone, you prefer In and Out over Whataburger, right?
I definitely do, but I think it is some bias about being a Californian versus like Texans have this bias about Whataburger because we're
Yeah,
Texans,
but
I can't
it's so
say
crazy because I'm from California. I'm a California born and raised. San Diego, that's where I was born and raised. But I was in Texas for 2.5, 3 years, and I think Whataburger is. I mean, I take back the comment about 100%, but I think out of a scale, like a grade, like a report card scale, In and Out is probably like a B, but Whataburger is like a B plus. That's like the way I would put it. But I think the reason why it gives it that couple percentages up or the couple points up is just because of spicy ketchup.
Yeah, spicy.
And people don't know about spicy ketchup and how fucking amazing it is. I had one of my boys back in the day. His name was dude, I forgot that fool's name. Oh yeah, it's Luis. I had an old boy back in the day. His name was Luis De Leon. And if he's watching this, shout out you, boy. But he like got spicy ketchup and he put like salt and pepper in it, and he got like a fry and he was like stirring it up. And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he like tried it out, and I tried it. He like put the right amount of salt, the right amount of pepper, and it was just gas, like fucking gas. And I was like, "Bro, this is amazing." And he was like, "Now put it on your burger." And I'd open it up and I'll put some on it. It just made the burger like 2 times more better.
Right.
Something about spicy ketchup is amazing. And if you live in Texas and you're watching this, I will literally pay for your shipping and handling if you send me fucking like 4 bottles of spicy ketchup. Put that shit in a bubble wrap, make sure that shit's secured. Send it to me and I'll fucking send you money because spicy ketchup is amazing. And I would love to have it with like the food I eat today. Like it's
Yeah, it can go on a lot of things.
You've had it,
really is
right? You've had
personal.
spicy ketchup?
Yeah, I did.
It's good, man. I'm like addicted to that shit. Oh, obviously not because I haven't had it, but it's addicting. I guess you could say I love spicy ketchup. But shout out In and Out. Like, just if someone said, "Let's go to In and Out," I wouldn't be like, "Ugh." Like, it's none of that. It's like, all right, like we'll go.
Yeah.
But if I was like, if we're if we were in a place, because they're never, In-N-Out and Whataburger are always like not at the same place. Reasoning, but if they were, and I was looking at both buildings, and I was standing in front, I'd walk to Whataburger.
Do you ever wonder what it would be like if Whataburger actually came here? Like, you know how Chick-fil-A's and In-N-Out's are usually like across the street from each other?
Yeah.
But they can kind of share the market because one is chicken, one is meat.
Yeah, and one's closed on Sundays and one's not.
Yeah. I mean, I bet you anything like Sunday In-N-Out sales are slightly higher than like Saturdays, just because like the Chick-fil-A people can't be like, oh, well, we can't go here, so let's go to In-N-Out. I wonder what it'd be like if Whataburger was here, dude.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of my family and friends are gonna be like, "You suck, Kiki. In-N-Out's better, bro. Go to fucking Whataburger, try it out. If you don't like it, go ahead and shit on me. But if for some reason you try to eat that burger and you're like, you kind of do one of these, like, that was good, like, then I would want to hear like, all right, he's right. Like,
dude, imagine like, you remember that one episode of SpongeBob where Squidward was in denial about trying Krabby Patties, and then when he first had it, he's like, "Yeah, it's whatever," and then he's like, "It's beautiful." Dude, I guarantee they do that just because of, like, the bias for In-N-Out, because like at this point, like, yes, In-N-Out tastes good, but it's almost like a cult brand loyalty because it's like it's a symbol of California at this point. It's like a culture icon.
100%. When people think of California, I would think the top 3 things they would think of right away is probably In-N-Out.
Yes, like.
Which is not like bad. Like In-N-Out's gas. I'm not gonna lie. Like, In-N-Out's fucking like.
Yeah.
In-N-Out's one of those places where if you hadn't had it in such a long time,
it's really good.
It's fucking good. Like you can definitely get burnt out. I mean, you can get burnt out from any fast food, but In-N-Out is one of those things like where if you just have enough discipline and you just don't eat it for a couple months and you just have a fucking double with animal style fries.
Yeah.
That'll make your day. Like,
yeah.
You'll feel like a fucking champ. Not in the toilet, but like you're gonna feel like a ball. You're gonna be like, that was fucking amazing.
Right.
But I was gonna say, I still think Whataburger is just it just got that edge. I mean, respectfully, shout out to In-N-Out. Fucking people who are addicted to In-N-Out. My girlfriend like loves In-N-Out.
Yeah.
Like loves, which I love In-N-Out too. But if we're in Texas, I'm about to put her on.
In terms of Texas, when I think of Texas, like I definitely think of like like Country Boys, Guns, and Whataburger. Like those are the images I see. Like I think of like the rodeo dudes, and then like the rancher Mexicans, dude. Like Texas Mexicans are such a different breed from California Mexicans, dude. Like California Mexicans, fucking whipping G37s and shit.
Yeah.
Shout out Chris.
No, I would believe that is Texas and California Mexicans are. Same thing, but different. Same but different.
Same but different.
But different, yeah. Nah, shout out them. But I love Texas, man. If I can go back and live there, I would, dude. I love Texas.
Yeah, Texas is definitely a good state. I feel like it's very friendly out there, like the country hospitality.
I feel like you're more open. I was having a conversation with one of my friends literally yesterday about. I was telling him, I was like, dude, like, I love California. Obviously, I chose to come back. Like I chose to come to Fort Worth. Like that was my like my preference, my choice. But I was like, dude, like I can see myself like moving out of like West Coast and moving to East Coast because I have a lot of friends that live East Coast, especially like my close friends from the military.
Right.
They're all East Coast people, and one of my closest friends, his name is Klein. Shout out fucking Kleiner. He has a house, I believe, in fucking North Carolina. I think. Maybe. Yeah, I'm wrong. Sorry, I'm being a shitty friend. But he has a house out there, and I was telling him as a joke, I was like, let me move in. He was like, bro, like, do it. Like, come be my roommate. And I was like, that's it? Like, that's it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, contemplating, obviously, because, shout out California, and there's a lot of stuff, opportunities here, but you're already at the age where, like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. And I'm like, and I was just, like, playing around with him, and I was like, bro, I could see myself moving to the East Coast. Like, either with him, friends, my significant other, if that's the option we're gonna go in the future. I can see myself moving to the East Coast, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I was talking to my friend yesterday. Shout out Keith, if you watch this. Shout out Keith. We're talking about how just like the East Coast vibe is just so much better than like the West Coast.
In what way?
It's just like it's a lot more friendlier. It feels like if you go to a bar in fucking Nashville, Tennessee. Everyone's just so much more friendly, and it just seems like they want you there. Like if you go to a bar in Cali, like, and I'm not saying like people are gonna size you up and like you have like a 30% chance of getting in a fight that night. But like in Tennessee, it's more like, not specifically Tennessee, but East Coast. It's more just like welcoming in a way. You feel like you know, if you go in there and have a good, like, you're gonna have a good night. But for some reason, like, you know, there's nothing wrong going to bars here, but I just feel like it's just like that little chip on the shoulder.
I do feel like people in California bars do try to show out to an extent. Like they kind of try to show out like their bravado, or like, look how funny I am, or I don't know.
Yeah, like how colorful. Exactly.
It's almost like it's like a show of force with status. It's kind
yeah,
of like,
and then
who I am.
especially too is like not like, especially like in the East Coast, like not everyone dresses the same, but it's just like common, like nice pair of jeans, couple of boots, maybe a fucking hat, and a decent looking shirt, maybe like a trucker hat, something simple. But out here, it's like bro, you got beat up Air Forces, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah,
fucking,
it's like it's a lot of peacocking, I would say.
Yeah, bro, like, you're not wearing a branded shirt, you're wearing like this, you're a loser. Like,
Yeah.
Bro, let me just fucking go get a beer with the homies, with the homegirls, and have a good night. And then I don't know, I mean, like, yeah, obviously, like, you know, if you go to a bar and there's women there, and if you're a single man, obviously, you know, you're gonna try to shoot your shot or whatever. I feel like it's more respectable out there too, because like not the way they go about it, but like I've seen like people in the East Coast like not really shoot their shot, but like talk with a group of females, and it just like flow, like they would talk back. It just seems so like natural, like it's like a common, like they all wanted to talk to each other. But out here, bro, you try to talk to a girl in the bar. What's up, mom? What's your name?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Where you from? Stop playing. Come slide
It's
on.
very straight to the
come
point.
slide on me, please, man. Stop playing. Let me get that snap, though. Like,
Yeah,
shut the
yeah.
fuck up. Like, bro, that's usually how it is. And I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that. People like, go about rizzing up girls their own way, but I don't know, man. It just ain't me no more, I guess you could say. Maybe just bro, maybe that's just me saying I'm getting old. I don't know, bro, but just like there's something about that. I don't want to go to a bar or club. I mean, clubs are normally gonna be like that, but if you go to a bar and it's just like that environment, I'm just like, I'd rather just be home and drink a fucking beer, you know,
Right.
like. And out there, it's just like, what's up, brother? Welcome in. What can I get you? You know, like,
Right.
oh, what's up? If I go to a bar in Cali, they're just gonna like look at me and just be like, what's up?
Yeah.
Can I get a Modelo? That's it. Okay. The smallest can. Here you go.
Right.
$8.79. What the fuck?
Yeah,
you know,
like,
like,
for what?
and everything out there in the East Coast is like a lot cheaper too, especially housing, pretty much anything. You know, I mean, I would assume like just because stuff is cheaper out there, I would assume like maybe like the job paying like it's not as much as California, because
Right.
you got to get paid decently enough here to live a life. If that makes sense.
It's hard to name what actually pays high out here. I think outside of like law enforcement, firefighters,
Mm-hmm.
maybe nurses, doctors, lawyers, but like that, those jobs aren't most people. So outside of that, it's like I wonder, how do people survive out here? Genuinely, like
Yeah, I
I'm
know,
curious
man.
about
I mean, I get paid through GI Bill, and you know, I have disability money and stuff, and it gets me by. But when I'm like now, like when I'm not working, bro, like if you don't have a job, like you're gonna struggle, like
Yeah.
like bad. And yeah, you definitely need like I mean, shout out to people like who have jobs and who, like, you know, they're not like as high paying as like they should be. It's just like it's rough to live out here, and like, dude, like I remember I was talking to one of my boys out there, and he was like, yeah, my rent is this. I'm like, bro, you're paying like $600-$700 less than what I pay here. And,
Right.
no, they're not renting. They own, like that's mortgage
They
money.
own.
And I'm just like, bro, I pay $700-$800 more for renting.
Right.
And they're just like, damn, brother, like come move out here.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I might. You're like, bro, like that's a lot of fucking money.
It just really feels like our money is going to go a lot further in other states compared to California. I mean, there's a reason why I think it's something like last year 700,000 or 800,000 people left California, and then this year it's expected to be in 1 million.
Jesus.
So the thing
I might
was-
be one of those.
Yeah, because like I hate to say it, because I don't want to leave here. I feel like a lot of California people are torn up on like moving out because this is like the
Home.
culture icon of America. Really.
Yeah.
like, you know, a lot of the movies were here, a lot of the music you love came from
Hollywood, San Diego.
Here.
Like,
Right.
I feel like we're very fortunate. I mean, shout out all the places in the fucking world, but I feel like just I'm blessed to be from California. Like, I'm not gonna shit on California as much as like it sounds like we're shitting on California.
Yeah.
I love, and I'm glad that I'm from here. Like, I'm love that I'm born and raised in San Diego. You know, California in general. Out here and living in Riverside, like I enjoy it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's rough living out here. Like
Yeah,
it
it is.
ain't cheap. And if you have a cheap if you have a cheap mortgage and you're getting by, like shout out you. Like you're doing something right. I mean, everyone's doing something right, but you're like if you're paying like cheaper mortgage and you have this and that and you have a decent paying job, like shout out you. Like you're gonna be okay, you know.
Right.
But a lot of people, especially nowadays, like this new generation, like you need a decent job just to get a living. Like kids moving out of their parents' house and shit. If they're not going college route, if they just want to go move out and go to work, like the 9-to-5 job, like you need like a decent 9-to-5 job.
Right.
And especially too is, dude, nowadays like you could use a roommate. Like
Yeah,
roommates
you
is like a
definitely could.
common thing now. Like usually it's, I'm gonna get my own place, do this, do it. Let's stick to that goal. But me, when I was saying the same thing too. It's like I want to move. Like if I get out of the military, shout out my parents, but I don't want to like. I mean, I shout out my parents, but I don't want to move back into my parents' home and that's it. Like call it quits. Like
Yeah.
they let me in and I saved up my money and I moved out and I moved. Obviously here, and it'd be cool like to have my own place and stuff like that. I mean, I think that's the goal for everyone, like just to have their own place, And now, like one of the first things that came to my mind when I was getting this apartment was, dude, I need roommates.
Right.
I need like not.
Yeah,
I
because you
want.
would not
I
be able to
need
keep a lot of your money if you don't.
exactly. I'd be fucking broke, like extremely. Like I wouldn't be able to live here, and if I lived off BAH and disability, like that wouldn't pay for all my expenses, know.
Right.
And like I still have money left over when it comes to paying rent and shit like that, but yeah, if I paid full rent here by myself, it wouldn't fly,
If you're like a brand new kid, 18 years old, let's say you don't have your parents to back you up to, I don't know, send you to college, send you to trade. I hate to say it, but I do actually feel like the military is one of the best ways to get it because, dude, you get a GI Bill, you get BAH, like you
exactly,
get
man,
based off the zip code of your school. Because it's funny because most people are all like, oh, dude, I don't want to go to war, I don't want to like fight. It's like, I don't know if people know, but 95% of the jobs in the military aren't combat jobs. Like,
yeah, they're
your infantry,
administrative, they're
yeah.
logistics, they're admin,
right?
and then that 5% is combat arms. And if considered combat arms, it's like you work with weapons. It's
Right.
not like, I mean, specifically our job is like we chose to do what we want to do, especially if shit hits the fan. Like we're gonna do what we trained to do, but the most of the other time it's like we just get to shoot guns and
Right.
fucking, shit like that. So yeah, like most of the jobs in the military are very admin, logistics, and there's not really like much to worry about, I guess you could say. Like you can definitely make a good living if you just join and become like a 42 alpha, like
Right.
like a what is that, like supply or no like a admin, like S1, know,
Right, yeah.
and they make the same amount of money as we do.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of tech-based jobs that could definitely help you when you get
Oh
out
yeah,
of
like
the military.
cyber or freaking or you can go aviation, dude. Like you can
Right.
like there's a lot of jobs in the military you can join and actually like benefit and profit when you get out.
Right. I had a buddy in the Air Force who did aviation. I think he worked on the C-17s.
Mm-hmm.
He eventually got stationed in Japan, and after 2 p.m., they would release them to go to fucking college on active duty. mind you,
Jeez,
too.
that's the life right there.
So they were living off post. They were getting BAH, and then I think they were using their like Montgomery GI Bill
Yeah.
while they were on active duty. So this dude, 21 years old, making like 4,800 taxes, doesn't have to pay for your place, goes to school, and I'm like, fuck, dude, like you could really take advantage of this.
Yeah,
shit.
you could do this for some time and get the certifications and degrees that you need to get, and by the time you're done, you're just even more not richer, but like in a way, like you have more money, wealthier.
Right.
Same thing, but you're more wealthier. You have a degree, and you just banked. Like you did both of it at the same time.
Right.
You served, and you went to college.
Right.
Those people that are in active duty, especially like a high tempo unit or whatever, like 82nd or 101st or 173rd, something like that. But if you're out there and you're doing college, like shout out those people too. Like I had a couple of friends in Irwin. I'm not saying that Irwin's not a high tempo. In a way it is, because we're out there fucking training 10 days a month,
Yeah,
every
always.
single, and then those are 10 days like you're not home. Like you can't go on a laptop unless you bring it out there and you have a hotspot, you finesse it. But most of the time you're like
On the move.
start the vehicle, get your ruck on. Like it's a tough job out there too. But the people that are doing college and active duty, that are not like doing like what you say, your brother, your cousin,
It was a buddy of mine from high
yeah,
school.
like your buddy, not like if they didn't go that route, and those people that are going to college and shit, that's rough, dude. Like Like, just imagine doing like a 9 to 5. You just did a whole day of honest like bullshit, Connex cleanup. Like fucking, you're at the moor pool. You're fucking beat up. You gotta go like write up 3 counselings for your soldiers, but you're also in college. Like, shout out those people. Like, that's fucking rough. And I was just like a simple team leader and writing counselings, and my soldiers were fucking ate up. I mean, I'm not saying it's a reflection of their leader. No, it's nothing like that, but they just like couldn't wake up on time. They're just assholes, you know, doing just underage drinking. That's not me. That's on them.
Yeah.
Just saying that. But I was always one like writing up a lot of like Article 15s and counselings and stuff like that. So as a team leader, I was like working my ass off, and I was like, bro, I can't do nothing.
Yeah.
I can't do anything. And there'd be times where I'd tell these motherfuckers like, I'm going home this weekend, and I swear to God, if I get a fucking phone call,
Did that ever happen?
yeah. If I was like, if I get a fucking phone call to the point where they're like, you need to come back and deal with the shit.
Like, did you have to drive back from San Diego?
I'm born and raised in San Diego, but most of my family and friends live in Riverside area.
Oh, okay.
So that cancels like a good hour and a half.
But it was still like an hour 20 back, right?
Yeah. No, for most of the time it was 2 hours and like 15 minutes,
Okay.
2.5 hours driving back. That's still, if I go home, I would expect, if I go home on a Thursday and my 3 days on a Sunday, I'm coming back Sunday.
Yeah.
But if for some reason I have to come back earlier, especially if I have, because like in Irwin you have set 3 days and 4 days. So I try to do the same thing too and set a schedule like, we'll do this Friday, we'll do this Saturday, this Sunday. And I try to do that every single month. I try. And when that gets interrupted, like that's my time. I'm not on their time, I'm on my time.
Yeah.
And then the point where like, yeah, you need to come back and handle fucking this dude because he's underage drinking, we caught him. And I'm just like, all right, like. And there's been a couple times where I drove back, and I would tell him like, hey, I'm still on my time. Yeah, I have to fucking be here to deal with the shit. I'm on my time, and I'm not gonna waste your time. It's your weekend too. You just fucked up. But when Monday comes around and we're back on their time, you're done. Like I'm not gonna. Like, this is not gonna be fun for you.
Yeah.
I was like, enjoy your FaceTime calls, enjoy your play Call of Duty after this. Go ahead. I don't give a fuck. But once Monday morning comes, yeah, good luck. Fucking bring a water source. That's what they always say in the military. Like, bring a fucking water source.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna fucking need it. And I'm like so. How would you say, like, I'm so chill. Like I'm never like the one to be like. I mean, yeah, I'll be like, hey, lock it up. Shut the fuck. Like I would tell people like that, but I'm never the one to be like, start doing fucking push-ups. Like I'm never like an asshole unless like you give me a reason to. So a lot of the dudes the soldiers that I had growing up, if they were like getting smoked or getting fucked up, it's because that's on them. You know, I never was hey, you with the fucking eyes, do push-ups. Like never like that. But if I gotta come back on a fucking 3 day because they caught you underage drinking, best believe on Monday, like I'm gonna flip that switch and just be like, yo, you with the eyes, fucking come here. And like it's done. Like the whole week is just fucking hell. And I'm like, all right, we're gonna do it again. It's a 4-day weekend this weekend. If this happens again, we're running back next Monday. You'll see me, and then we'll go from there. But there's been times where I had to go back, but that's just like, you know, just me being a leader in the military. That's something I accepted. I can't just be like, no, I won't come back. You know, something like that. Like I look like a piece of shit, but it's all right though. I mean, I've always done military. I've actually never worked like a civilian job. I've never.
Oh shit.
Like this is my first year making a resume. Yeah. This year, 2023. It was my first year like making a resume.
Right.
I'm 25. Never did a job interview. Never had to do this and that. Like I've never had to punch in or clock in for a job.
Just show up here and then like it's good to go.
Yeah,
basically.
I've never done something like that. So me doing that now, looking for a job, obviously going to school, applying for, you know, sending up a resume, applying for jobs. This is like my first time doing it at 25. So like me calling people like, hey, my name's Enrique, blah blah blah. I'm a recent veteran from the military. You know, I was just wondering if like you guys have any openings. Like that's like a first thing for me. I did that yesterday, and it wasn't like nerve-wracking. Like if I can sit in front of sergeant majors and first sergeants and tell them like why I should be a sergeant, I can definitely sit down and talk to someone on the phone saying like if you have any openings, like I would love to come work for y'all. Like I think I'm a good hard worker, and I feel like most places I go to, like in a way, this is me bragging to myself. Is I feel like most places I go to or most units, like I try to do the most and I leave like an impact. Like people, like when some people can go to a unit and they can leave and you will never talk about them again. But I feel like I try my best to do that, to be that person where if I go somewhere, like that name Rivera kind of just like lingers. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm at Irwin, like if I would assume at Irwin too, like Sergeant Rivera like was a name that lingered for a couple of months before I left, or after I left. I meant they're like they can be like, oh, Sergeant Rivera used to like when we used to do rucks and shit, he'd always be in the front. He'd always be like one of those fast runners. At Hood, I was like the battalion commander's driver, so I was like always in front of the formations. I was always like I was in Korea. Like I always try to like do as much as I can. Maybe not as much Hood, but Irwin, and I feel like I'm doing somewhat okay in Fullerton. Like doing the ESB, the EST, GRTC last year being a squad leader. Like I feel like I'm slowly like trying to leave like a somewhat of a footprint. So like if I do get out next October, and I dip out and I do firefighting, which is I'm not getting out for selfish reasons. I'm just trying to live my life as an adult.
Right. If
I get out, I would hope that people, like if you stay in or like anyone else, they're like, oh yeah, you just missed him, Sergeant Rivera. Like he was fucking cool. You know, like I would hope that's like a thing.
I know. I would feel that way because I think like you're one of the NCOs who like the standard NCOs like the country boy. Yeah, you gotta go over there, do the stats and fucking shit bag.
We know a couple of dudes like that.
Yeah.
shout out them.
We do need them.
Yeah, you do need those. Those assholes. You know those dudes once in a while.
But we can't have like only assholes. But the same way we can't have like only nice guys too. It's kind of like there's a balance to the force, like type shit.
Yeah, no, I feel like I fit in. Like I feel like I'm always the one. I feel like when people think of me, a lot of people would say like, you don't want to piss off Sergeant Rivera. I heard that like so many times, especially when I was in Irwin. Is like if Rivera's not laughing, if Rivera's yelling at you, like you fucked up.
I think if you pissed off the nice guy, the one guy who never gets pissed off, that's when you know like you really actually did.
Yeah, we had a sergeant like that in Irwin. His name was Sergeant Hernandez. He was our platoon sergeant, so we call him Dad, obviously. So he's a dad now, but shout out Dad for sure. But Sergeant Hernandez, super nice dude, and he would always talk. He'd be like, "What's up, man? How's it going, man?" Like super simple, like super like quiet.
Yeah.
And just the days where he got mad, that's how you knew. Like that, there's a difference like making like your team leader mad, and he's like, "Hey, fuckface, you weren't supposed to do that." Like you can like listen to it and you just forget about it within the next 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But when Sergeant Hernandez was just like, "Hey man, what the fuck?" That'll like linger for like a week. Like
right.
you're like, "Fuck, dude." Like, he hits you more with the mental like attack more than physical. He'd just be like, "What the fuck, man? I'm disappointed in you."
Yeah.
That'll
that would hurt
that'll
more
crush you, bro. That'll crush you. I remember when I heard him say some shit like that before to me. It was like, "Hey man, you need to fix yourself, man. That's fucking disappointing." I'm like, like trying not to like, no, like don't say that, Sergeant. I saw him smoke someone, or like some of my boys from the military, the other sergeants. I saw him smoke them because just some other shit. And after he smoked them, he told him to get up and he apologized. He's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry about that. But y'all fucked up, man." And he was like, "Yeah, no, sorry." He's like,
"Yeah,
hey man, but it's okay. I'm sorry." I was like,
oh,
what the fuck?"
Yeah.
He didn't really want to do that. Like he was just like, just don't do stupid shit,
Yeah.
and he just was like super chill. But if you fucked up, maybe you deserve a couple push-ups, whatever. So he would do that. It's super funny. So how long have you been in the Guard for?
So I came back into the Guard at 2021 November. So a little bit of history. I used to be a 91 Bravo. That is a mechanic. I was originally in the Army Reserve at the time. Originally, I wanted to go to the infantry, but then my brother, talked me out. They're like, "Hey, dude, your bodies are both banged up. Maybe you shouldn't do it." And I'm like, all right, maybe I'll get a trade. I'll go to school. I'll listen to you guys.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I graduated from mechanic school, I instantly regretted it, like already. So for the next 5 years, I was like, fuck, dude, I wish I didn't do this.
When did your contract end?
So when I started with the infantry,
2172.
I'm out in 2027, man, because they got me at the whole like bonus. But like I was like, man, I don't care if 6 years went by. It's gonna be another 6, and even then, there's a national guard.
You do 6 for 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, dude, this isn't the active duty. We're not gonna be doing this shit 24/7. It's not a big deal, right? So I came into the Guard. Long story short, November 2021. So.
And then you don't get out till November of 2027.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Cheese and rice.
See, I didn't know you could do all these short contracts. Like you do a year here, 2 years there.
The 1 year option?
Yeah. So if I knew
If
that,
you knew that back then, would you have done the 1 year option?
I would have maybe done like 3 years
3?
here. And then like transfer to like combat engineer, just play with some explosives.
Yeah.
3 years here, 3 years there. So you could be like been there, done that.
Yeah.
So that I feel like that would have been like the option. So well.
You said the second you started going through the process, you're like, yeah, I regret this.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the infantry. It's just,
Yeah.
I think you would have enjoyed it more if you were active duty, for sure.
I think so too. Like honestly, dude, I think I should have went active duty first because basically, you get the full blown GI Bill.
Yeah.
Technically, you don't make that much money on active duty, but think about it. You don't pay for rent, dude. You technically don't pay for food if you're not going out 24/7.
Yeah. No, when I was inactive, all I was paying for was phone, obviously. The shit that I had in my room, like food, I guess you could say, and my car.
Right.
But a good chunk of expenses nowadays is mortgage, rent, just that payment.
Yeah.
And that can be 800, 700, 600 plus, 1,500 plus.
Right.
But you're right. No, they don't really pay well in the military. Honestly, people think like we make this much bank or whatever.
Right.
The only time money comes well in the military
Deployment,
is
right?
deployment or a fucking bonus. If you enlist
Yeah.
for a bonus, that's the only time where they'll give you like a whole lump. It depends, like maybe like a lump sum of money, and you're just like, oh shit.
Right.
But besides that, fuck. I think when I was a 5 in a row, I think I was making like 1,100 every check, which is
Right.
like a common if you just worked at like Amazon or something.
Yeah.
But people were thinking like we're making like 5-6 grand a month. Hell no, I wish.
Which
bro.
is what trips me about like people who are in like the small time active duty guard. Like these E6s are making like anywhere upwards from like 7 to 11K, and I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
bro.
what the fuck, like.
Oh, you mean like AGR in a way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
And then
yeah.
like guys who are on like ESAT orders, so like counter drug or like task force rattles and like the
Yeah,
firefighter
yeah.
shit. I would talk to those guys and maybe making like 8K a month. And I'm like, damn, dude. So that's the reason why I came into the guard, because my cousin was originally recruited in active duty, and then he said he had buddies in the guard making like 8K a month after taxes. And I'm like, dude, what the? In the military? Like, dude,
Yeah.
there's no way. Like, I've talked to a bunch of guys about this, and I kind of feel like when you're single, right, you're kind of having a hard time, like maybe getting a girlfriend or something like that. But when you finally get a girlfriend, it actually feels like all these girls are going after you. And I thought like, dude, maybe I'm just being paranoid. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then I was just randomly scrolling Instagram. There's this one video explaining, I forget which college it was. Like, I feel like I should look it up later. But they basically did a study where a bunch of these men were saying like they're taken, even though they weren't, they were actually single. And a lot of these girls were attracted to them. And then when these guys finally told them like, oh, I'm single, they got pissed off at them. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why? Like, you'd think like, oh, now that you're available, it'd be better, right? But so I need to go check the full study. But I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it was like a thing of like, I feel like the average girl in America feels like the average guy is creepy. But when you're in a relationship, already kind of clears those suspicions that like maybe you're not weird because you were able to bag a girlfriend. So I don't know, man. Like, it's just weird.
It's like sometimes people tend to have a hard time like looking for a girlfriend, boyfriend when they are single, but when they're in a relationship, it's just kind of like you're. I don't know if they see like a challenge. But
I think also too, you're kind of when you're in a like for example, like when I was single, walking around in public, I'd see couples, and then I'd see like a guy's girlfriend's doing like really sweet things for them, and I'm like, damn, I want a girl like that. But then indirectly, you start wanting that specific girl or guy when you're single. So like I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'd be thinking like, damn, like shout out to that guy, but if she's single, bro, like,
jeez, menace to society.
yeah.
He's in a relationship now, but if he wasn't,
Yeah,
keep
no,
your
no,
girl-
I promise I want to do it. Like,
keep your girl away from this man.
Nah.
Nah. But that's so funny that you say that because I mean, I'm not saying from our own experience in a way, but I feel like when I was in a relationship, I kind of received more attention.
Yeah.
And then now when I was single, I mean like last year, it was just kind of like dead.
Yeah.
in a way, I guess. And I'm not saying like now I'm in a relationship, I'm not saying like my DMs are going crazy or anything like that. They're not blowing up at all. Like I'm getting no messages.
Right.
But it's just funny growing up. It was just kind of like a thing. I'm like, why are they fucking me more
Yeah.
when I'm in a relationship? But when I'm single, the crickets.
I think it's because in a way, like when they're single, like in their heads, it's like, oh, he's like accessible. I think I can eventually get with him when the right time is there.
Yeah.
But now that like you're in a relationship or it looks like you're starting to hang out with someone, I think like in their heads, it's like the window is closing, like this opportunity is closing. So I think that's
maybe
one of the reasons why. a thing. Every so often for annual training, we'd be in the field for like 2 weeks. I swear when I was out in Fort Irwin, I would see like shadows, but like I was thinking like
Last episode. Have you seen last episode?
So
I'm telling you, it's a real fucking thing.
I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I'm sleep deprived. I'm probably dehydrated. I'm probably just seeing shit, right? But I think supposedly a lot of military bases were built on places where it's like either A, Native American land, B, the Civil War was like waged on that land.
Like,
you know,
where
like,
people have actually died. Like
Right.
there's probably bodies in that ground. You just don't even know it.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly, right? So I just thought I would see shadows, and I'm like, okay, like it's probably nothing, right? You know, like generic like horror movie protagonist, like no, there was nothing, even though like a full blown out demon would be standing right behind them, and then they're all like, oh, I'm just seeing things. It's like, no, motherfucker, like no, you're not. Like anyway, there was this Instagram page called Tales from the Grid Square, and I guess it was like a
That's funny.
like an Instagram page of like just from all around the DoD of guys who just encountered shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I would see one about like NTC shadows, and I'm like, okay, like we have like 3 guys in our unit from like NTC. Maybe I'll ask him. So like, did you ever see like shadows out in Fort Irwin, or what did you see?
I mean,
you did.
yeah. We discussed a little bit in the last episode with Palayo. Shout out Palayo. I know he's gonna be watching this. But yeah, actually, there's been times where, like, when we were training out there, a lot of other units would train out there too, and sometimes like special forces or like Ranger Bat will go out there just to do their own training, and sometimes motherfuckers get bored, so they like to like fuck with us too. So sometimes they like throw rocks at our tracks, like we'll drive away or some shit.
Right.
If it's like once in a blue moon, you be up at 2-3 in the morning pulling a guard shift, and you actually see like these fucking Green Berets like in a 4-wheeler just like hauling ass across the desert.
Right.
At 3 in the morning, and you're just like, what the fuck? And if you see them, you're just like, oh shit. And the common thing people would say in everyone is, special forces is nearby. Special forces is around us.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit. You know, like we're on the same team, but you know they're gonna come fuck with us. You know.
Yeah.
And so sometimes like people would say like, oh, we saw something. Like, no, it's just like the special forces dudes fucking with you. I don't know. There was some days where, you know, I we worked our asses off and we're in there like 100-degree weather and we're getting cooked the fucking whole day. We're burnt. We're tired. But there's some days and there's some nights where it's just like 2-3 in the morning, 1, maybe even like midnight, and I'll do like guard shifts, and I would literally see like fucking things moving, like black objects, like figures, shadow people, I guess you could say, literally walking from like hills to hills. And I'm like literally calling it up, like I'm not really like on the radio, but telling people nearby like, yo, y'all see that? And they would see it too.
Yeah.
And then we'll call it up like, yo, you got like 2 like nearby units like that are like adjacent to you. Hey, you got some, maybe like some dudes. It's like 2 in the morning. Like, why the fuck is there like 7 dudes like walking by or some shit?
Right.
And you call it up like, hey, anyone on the other side of Hill 780? You got some dudes walking on your left side. Like, if you have a guard, like a guard shift pulling it,
Yeah.
let them know to look this way and let us know. And they'll be like, there's no one out there. What the fuck? Like, I swear I saw it. But besides shadow people, like the reason we brought this up, the box, like the box witch.
Yeah.
There was this one day. Oh, it was actually the same day. When we were talking about how my sergeant was like, what the fuck's making that noise? That goog?
Yeah.
It was that same night. And I just remember we had like a squincher like for the water, and we put ice in it so you can drink some cold water. All the MREs are there, like the shit that we eat, and we put like a tarp over it so like it doesn't get like burnt from the sun, or like, you know, just like residue don't hit it, or like sand. And there was like a black backpack right next to the squincher, and I don't know if this is, I know this is a fake story, 100% fake, but it's just so funny that you mentioned the box witch to me earlier, and I was like, damn, like I knew I didn't make it as a joke, but it could actually be a real thing.
Yeah.
It's because I was there with Dick and that one soldier, and we're looking at the squincher, and he has a canteen and it's empty. I'm like, bro, go get water. And he was like, all right. And I grabbed his shoulder, and I was like, wait, you see that? And I was looking at the backpack, and it's pretty dark out there, so you can tell it's a backpack, but if you kind of like fuck with it, someone's mine, it won't look like a backpack.
Right.
So I was telling him, I was like, dude, but be careful. He was like, why? I was like, you see that thing right next to the squincher? And he was like looking at it, and I knew it was a backpack, but I was so invested into this joke, I was convincing myself it wasn't a backpack no more.
Yeah.
So I just remember like looking at it, and I was like, yo, watch out. And he's like looking at me like, what do you mean? I was like, and I looked at it and I was like, why does it look like a fucking witch, like on the ground, like in the fetal position?
Yeah.
And in my own head, I was like,
Starting to get
I
paranoid.
was like transforming that backpack into like a human being.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was moving, like breathing. And I was just like, and I was telling him, I was like, yo, I'm kidding, bro. Like, go get your water. And he was like, I'm not going over there. And I was like, no, bro, like, I'm kidding. It's literally a backpack. He was like, no, dude. In his head, he was like, that's something.
Right.
And I'm looking at him like, okay, I know it's a joke, but like, is that really a fucking backpack? Like, am I just fucking around here? And like, am I just, am I tripping out? And I end up looking at it in my own head. I tricked myself at 2 a.m. My own joke.
Yeah.
That it was a fucking,
It's a paranoia.
like the witch. And it literally looked like a very skinny girl with long hair in a fetal position.
Oh, fuck no.
Like balled up next to the fucking water squincher. And I'm just staring at it. And my heart is like slowly dropping to the core of the mantle of the earth. I'm just like, oh man, like, bro, like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
And I'm like staring at it and I'm like, go get it. And I was like kind of like pushing him. And he was like, don't fucking, he was getting mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, are you getting mad at me now? Like, bro, that's how you know we're going crazy out here in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he's getting mad at me. He thinks it's a fucking witch now. Now he just lost the urge to drink water. Like, and I'm just like, oh fuck, bro. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't like a box witch. Like, I'm pretty sure like there's some crazy shit out there. I mean, besides shadows, I've seen like shit in the sky too.
Yeah.
I want to say I've seen a couple UFOs in the sky with like people who can vouch for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just super crazy how like we convinced ourselves that backpack was a fucking witch.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of our boys like woke up for the next shift and he picked up the backpack. He like literally picked it up in front of us and like it was just like, oh shit, it is a backpack.
Yeah.
But I was like, bro, that's how you know we're going fucking crazy, is when fucking we think the fucking assault pack is
Your mind just starts playing tricks on you like in the dead of night. It really does.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if that in a way like the shadow people, like I don't know if it's just because of our own paranoia, just because of lack of sleep and shit like that. I mean, that could be a thing, but according to a lot of people, and if you go to that one page you were just talking about, people like there's some like real shit out there. And I would think that if I was in 10 encounters with shadow people, I would say 2-3 of them were like legit.
Yeah,
like,
probably
like legit spirits,
right?
Like, like apparitions, like walking by, like cruising by in the box of the desert or Fort Rowan.
Right.
Maybe like soldiers or individuals or people from the past who got their lives taken, but they're still like driving on, like they're still like, we still got to keep roaming,
Right. Yeah.
That's what I would always say. I heard a story in the past before about how there was like this sergeant, he was a sergeant, he's a sergeant now. I don't know if he's out now, but when he was in Afghanistan, he was a private and they're doing like a late night patrol. They're just walking, and usually in a squad, you have a squad leader, your 2 team leaders, that's 3, and you have like 3 Joes per team. Is that 6 plus 3? 9. You have 9 people. Quick math. You have 9 people in that squad, and they were just like walking by, and they have their nods down. They're just patrolling some part of Afghanistan, and they're in a combat situation. Obviously, they're at the higher. They got rounds in and shit like that. And there's 9 people there. They're cruising. And then all of a sudden, like one of the guys in the far right, more than likely like a rifleman or some shit, said that he saw like another squad attached to them, and he was like looking back. And he's a private, so usually, if there's like another squad attached to you, you would think that like that's like legit. Like
right,
you went from 9 people to 18. You're like, oh, we're stacked in case we get in contact. If it's like the 3-1 odds, like I feel like we could take these people on,
Yeah.
And he's looking back, and he thinks like, I'm not like, it's common, like if you're a private, you don't really know much and you're learning throughout the way. So he learned like not really to like ask questions. Like he just like, oh, like we have 9 more people. And then he had that like that extra cushion of like, hey, if we do get into contact, because you're in Afghanistan back in the day, that will be all right. So he just like kind of lived off that. And he was like kind of like, he's trying to space himself from the person in front of him and also the person behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just trying to get some spacing. And they're just cruising. And all of a sudden, like, I just remember he was, like, pushing a little closer to, like, the dude in front of him. And his team leader, they're, like, a whole. And his team leader was like, hey, man, like, you're doing good. Just make sure you get your spacing. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, I was just trying to, like, get some spacing from the dude behind me. Mm-hmm. And the team leader was like, what dude? And then he looked back, the whole squad was gone.
Oh shit.
And he was just like, And then he like was like, all right, bro, like I'm gonna tell you some shit, and I'm just because I'm a fucking 19, 20, 18-year-old private, just because I'm like, you know, I could be an idiot, I don't know, but I'm being serious. Like I swear to God, there was like a whole different squad with us, and the guy was like, bro, we're the only squad out here, and
Yeah.
we're like, we have to do one more circle around this block, and then we can go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, are you serious? Like we're the only ones? He's like, yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, a lot of shit happens in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So there could be a thing where like people's lives got taken, but you still got people who are like still driving on, who
Right.
still want to, you know.
I read this other weird one in Afghanistan too, where like these two soldiers, I guess, were standing guard in their fob, and they were getting like broken radio transmissions, but it sounded Russian for some reason.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and then,
where are they in Afghanistan?
Yeah, and then it makes sense because the Russians actually invaded Afghanistan in the 1980s, back in the Cold War, when the U.S. government was arming the Mujahideen, who's now the Taliban, against them.
Yeah.
So it sounded like over the radio was like Russians getting into a gunfight. But
What the fuck, for real?
yeah. So like I don't know how true it is, but like I'm not the most religious person ever, but like, dude, I would not want to dig far enough into this shit to find out if it's true, because like I don't want to find out if this shit's true.
Yeah,
because like then I won't be able to sleep at night.
Cool. It's cool to hear. Like that's fucking gnarly. But I would never want to experience that. Fuck. I don't want to be on a guard shift in Iraq or some shit, and all of a sudden I'm just like,
Yeah.
hello, we need help.
Because I feel like everybody has seen like Alex Jones, right? Like that guy's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But like the way I operate
Alex
in logic is I feel like, let's say 90% of what he says is like totally bullshit, because like the dude has just lost it, right?
Yeah, he's definitely he a couple screws are just not in place.
I feel like let's say like he says 100 things, right? And 3 of them are true, and he's not actually trying to lie. I feel like maybe he actually did find out one truth that just sent the dude over the edge about like he can't function anymore.
Did that? You know, if you know Alex Jones, that dude's
A nut.
he's a trip.
Yeah.
I've seen some shit like, and he's like such a raspy voice.
Yeah.
Like you can just tell. If I close my eyes and I heard him talking, I'll just be like, fuck Alex Jones, you know.
Yeah.
But that dude goes off. But that's some scary shit. I would never want to experience that, especially if I was on a guard shift in Afghanistan or some shit.
Dude, I was getting hella paranoid when we were in the box last year, because like my cousin was like, "Oh, dude, you're gonna run into the box, which is gonna smell like so far." I'm like, "Fuck you, dude! Like, you know, I'm paranoid." Like, dude, it's funny because I told my mom about before I went out there. Dude, she gave me straight up like holy water. I was like, dude, because I guess like in old legend, like if you dip like your bullets in the holy water, it's supposedly gonna work. So it's like, dude, I have blanks, but I swear to God, if we see some shit, I'm dumping like this holy water on the 240, spraying that powder at them, like
Taking the BFA off.
yeah. It's like,
And hoping that some rounds connect. Bro. They just
even though it's just no, because like I guess like one of the reasons why we had attack freeze is because like I guess in some squads ammo they found live ammo in their blanks, so it seemed like I was like, come on, baby, let one of these be real. Do you think like sleep paralysis is real though? I'm saying like, do you think it's like a psychological condition, or do you think it's actually like something? Because like
you think sleep paralysis is a real thing? Like when you actually see like, I've heard stories of sleep paralysis. I've heard some different stories that'll like scare a motherfucker. Like,
yeah.
I remember one of my boys I think it was my boy Keanu. Shout out my boy Keanu. He said he had sleep paralysis, and then he was like stuck. He had sleep paralysis facing up.
Oh.
So he couldn't like he could do like look down or whatever, but he couldn't like move around. So he was just looking at the ceiling. And I remember he was like using his eyes to look down like around his barracks room, and then when he looked back up, there was like a demon.
Fuck no,
stuck,
dude.
Like stuck to the wall, and it was just staring at him. And then he was just like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
like,
dude.
It reminds me of. Have you seen Insidious?
Yeah.
That red demon, the one that has like the.
Yeah,
like that. He
it
said
was like Darth Maul and shit.
Yeah. It looked like he said it was kind of like that, and it was just like staring at him, and he was like making full eye contact with this demon.
Fuck no, dude.
And next you know, it drops from the ceiling towards him, and then it lands on him, and he says that his head was able to like turn like this a little bit, and this demon thing, whatever, was like breathing like you can feel like the air on the side of his face. Like he was just, whatever this thing was, it was pissed, just like loud, like you can feel it.
No.
And he was just stuck, and then he woke up and it was gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you know, I asked him like, did you feel it? Like, did you feel? He's like, I felt the weight of a motherfucker on me.
Fuck.
And I felt the fucking, like, if someone was breathing on the side of your face, like like someone that you didn't want to breathe on the side of your face, like it's uncomfortable. And he
Oh
was
no,
just
I'm gonna be praying tonight, dude. Like,
yeah, you tell your mom to get that holy water again.
yeah,
But he told me it was one of those, and I was like, I've been to sleep paralysis, but that, fuck no. Like
Yeah.
I was like, fuck no, I would never go through that again. Like I would never want to go through that.
yeah.
And I was like, I hope that you never go through that again, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's some scary shit, bro.
But again, I wonder if it's psychological or if it's like something.
The real deal.
Yeah, you know, like I kind of want to know, but I kind of don't, dude. Like,
I'm just gonna live with what I know now, and
yeah,
I would be the one to like, look it up on the computer. But if I
Yeah.
read something like, yes, the effects and conditions you experience during sleep paralysis tend to be factual, I'll be like, fuck, you know, like
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
never
yeah.
want to hear that, bro.
right.
But dude, when he told me that story, I was like, dude, go to church.
Yeah.
go read a verse real quick,
'Cause
bro. Go pray.
I had one when I was 16, and I woke up like middle of the night. It must be
Yeah.
like 3 a.m, and like you've played COD Zombies, right? Like you know, like during
Yeah.
like round 5 or 6, like fucking like those little shriveled up zombies come, like the poisonous
yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Like, dude, it was like a fucking black skinny figure scanning over
No,
me. Dude,
bro.
I could not fucking move, and I kept just trying to like clench my fist and yell "fuck you," and then like for 2 minutes it wouldn't work, and then like eventually
2 minutes of
Yeah.
sleep paralysis.
yeah, and I was like.
Yeah, you're
And then,
just like hyperventilating in your
Yeah,
sleep.
and then like I eventually was able to shoot it, but it was fucking gone. But then it felt like I woke up and I was just looking around. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Bro, I've actually had sleep paralysis on FaceTime.
What?
Like back in like my high school days, I was on FaceTime with, I believe like my first girlfriend,
Yeah.
and we're FaceTiming. I was like really sick. If COVID was a thing, I probably had COVID back then.
Yeah.
But I was like extremely sick, and you know, fucking, I'm not even trying to sound like a weirdo, but like, you know, people fall asleep on FaceTime sometimes, and
Yeah.
you know, whatever. It's just lovey-dovey shit. And I ended up falling asleep on FaceTime, and she fell asleep too, and I had sleep paralysis, and I was like, like going through it, and there was like two. This sounds fucking weird. I had two motherfuckers, and it looked like they were nuns, and they were just staring
Fuck.
staring at me from like my closet,
Yeah.
and they're just like looking at me like they're like. It's something like you know, aliens would do if like you're in their fucking
Yeah.
spaceship and they're just like trying to understand like how you would react to them.
Yeah.
They're just like staring at you. Have you seen Fire in the Sky, that movie?
No, I haven't.
You
What's that
have
one
to
about?
watch that movie. It's,
Dude, this is why when I go like kind of off topic, whenever
you're
I
good,
go
you're
like
good.
deep into the woods or the desert, I kid you not, I bring my fucking pistol, I bring my fucking machete, and then my rifle is in my fucking car.
just in
Because
case.
95, like this is what I tell myself. I will 95% probably never need this. But like, I'm not about to go missing in the fucking woods and get killed by the Wendigo, bro. Like, I'm not about to have a skinwalker, the skin dussy like skinwalker, like run up on me, dude. Fuck
And
no,
he
like,
hit you with a 2-piece fade, and
Yeah.
you're just like, that's how I went out.
dude. I've watched too
I
many.
lived a good life, and that's how I went out. I got fucking 2-piece comboed by a Wendigo.
Dude, I've watched too many movies where those fucking dumbass white people in college who are like 21 years old, like, let's go deep into the woods where we can't call 911. What could go wrong? Fuck no, dude. Like,
It's like the scary movies where they get chased by the serial killer, but
Yeah.
they hide in the most obvious place.
and then two,
They
it's
hide
like,
in the place with all the bottles that are like clinking on each other, and
Yeah.
they're like, they'll never find us.
and then they find like the gun or the machete, but like at the end of the movie, nah, dude, I'm like the guy who has it from the beginning. You ain't.
Yeah, I'm the guy who
Fuck
has it,
no.
and then when the movie ends, I still have it, unless I'm dead already. You know?
Exactly.
You know how you have new scary movies nowadays, and there's like super.
It's just 5 million jump scares. I
Yeah,
think.
but one of the most scariest movies I've ever seen in my life is fucking The Exorcist.
Yeah.
But that movie was made in the 70s, 80s, like
Yeah.
where there wasn't a lot of technology to operate with, like CGI, like everything that was directed, produced in that movie was like straight actors and actresses working, like acting their asses off to the point where you would think like these motherfuckers were actually possessed and there's exorcists and shit like that.
Right.
It's based on a true story, right? The Exorcist.
Yeah, I don't think it was an Exorcist, but I think like in the movie Poltergeist, they actually used like real human remains as props, and they actually got haunted on the set.
Yeah,
like, supposedly.
the Exorcist too. They needed like a no, I keep saying chaplain, but like someone with like a religious authority to like literally bless the set
Holy.
daily. And I don't know if it was recently, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I think the girl that played the Exorcist, like she passed away, I think.
Mhm.
But she was explaining like back in the day, like her life was never the same ever since she made that movie. Like she was literally fucked, like mentally, and she was getting like all these spirits were fucking with her. Like she was literally haunted for the rest of her life
Yeah.
just because she took that role. I mean, they would, like back in the day, it wasn't like as serious, and you would just think that if you did a scary movie, that like you can go do a chick flick the next one, But
Yeah.
she said that after that, like it was like her one hit wonder, The Exorcist.
Yeah.
She never did another movie again, and she was like haunted for the rest of her life.
Fuck that.
That's
dude.
so like unfortunate. It's just like you gave one of the best performances, probably the most scariest movie in the entire world, but like you lived like a shitty life just because of like the haunting and like the shit that you went through growing up. Like,
To be honest, bro, that's why I don't really watch those movies, because like I am Catholic.
yeah,
And like my logic is like there's a 50% chance for is a heaven, but by that logic, there's a 50% chance for is a hell.
yeah,
And if those things, like, let's say for all intents and purposes, if those things do exist, I wouldn't want to mess around with it. So my buddy who I was telling you about, who was at Fort Bliss, he fucked around with the Ouija board.
Oh god,
Yeah,
I was talking about the last episode.
Him and his
Fuck a Ouija board.
him
bro.
and his soldiers messed around with it, and I was thinking to myself like, all right, dude, best case scenario, nothing happens. Worst case scenario,
Something
happens. So he told me like even when he like got home, like he would get knocks on his door late at night. He would get fucked with. It was to the point where he had to get like a priest involved, and then after that, the
Oh
haunting
my
stopped.
god, bro.
But again, it's like, dude, why would you want? I don't want to find out. All right, I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
like, oh, is this real? Fuck, dude, I'm not that adventurous, bro. Like,
yeah, hell no, bro. If it comes, I love scary movies. I love talking about ghost stories and aliens and shit like that. Like, it'll get it'll get you going. It puts on, your hair will be sticking up, and it'll put you like, it'll give you like that little rush. You know what I'm saying? But going through it, yeah, I'm good. Like especially Ouija boards. I'll talk about pretty much. I mean, I'll talk about Ouija boards and shit like that. But if I ever saw one in front of me,
Get
like
the
I'm
fuck
just
outta
like,
there.
get the fuck away from me. Like, get the fuck, like, I just can't do it. And I've heard many stories with, like, especially with the Ouija board, especially my friends, and how like shit, like you said, best case scenario, it doesn't work. It's just worst case scenario, it actually moves and it fucking talks to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and I've heard too many stories about people who actually like get addicted to like messing with it, and they think like maybe I think, but maybe they get so they fall for like whatever they're messing with.
Yeah.
Maybe it's true. Maybe there is a spirit and they're actually they're talking to a ghost and they're attracted to it, and whatever it works, like however Ouija boards works. But yeah, that's not for me. That's a hard fucking no for me. So yeah, I would believe that your friend that was fucking with the Ouija board, that afterwards they were probably experiencing like some side effects from like knocking and shit like that. That's like the worst thing that could happen is, all right, go home, guys. I'll see you guys later. And then going home, and all of a sudden you just hear fucking doom, doom, doom.
Yeah, exactly.
What was that? Yeah, me and my friends, when I was in Irwin, I used to live in housing. Not because I was married or anything like that, just because my friend had an open room.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I hate the barracks. So I moved out.
Yeah.
Long story. I'll break that down another time. But I was with them, and my room was like the cleanest. It's like this, like how you said, my room is like very cool.
Yeah.
Everyone just wanted to be in my room, and I had the same TV, same setup, and we would just watch like random videos all the time, and we would watch like scary, like top 10 scariest things caught on camera, like just to keep like during our lunch at work, just to fucking mess around. But we were watching this one, and it was like talking about a story about how some dude who felt like, do you know who Dear David is?
No.
Dear David is like an old book of a kid who had like, I think like a dent in his head, and people used to make fun of him. He was just like the way he was born, and they would make fun of him all the time. He had like he had like a hair condition too, like like no hair. He basically just like was a bald kid with like a certain dent in his head, and that's just the way he was born. But people would make fun of him. But in the book, it would just talk about like how David liked to do things, like David liked to read, David liked to do this, David liked to do that. It was just a kid, like it's just basically promoting or showing like no matter like how you look, you can still enjoy like the little things,
Yeah.
But he said in it, he felt like he was being watched by like a fucking kid, and then he said it started with like a knock, and then he would look outside his like peephole in his door, and he wouldn't see anything. And there was this one day where like it just kept on going, and he took a picture, and you can see like a little kid's hand like on the side of the hallway, just
Yeah.
like dipping, like whatever it was like it didn't know like his hand was in frame. It went from that to him placing cameras inside his house and his cats and dogs like going absolutely crazy. And in the video of like him doing it, of him like having his cats and shit, in the video you can literally see like his cats like looking at a direction and literally like just like following, like all 5 of the cats like like looking at an object that wasn't even there.
Yeah.
And they would like look up and then like they'll like break out of it and they'll like keep doing this again, like whatever it was like walking in the room.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck? And you know, shit was falling in the living room, like a clock fell. And then one of the last like the last parts of the video was he said that he fell asleep, slept with the camera in his room, which is scary. And then all of a sudden, like one day he woke up and he recorded a little kid sitting on one of his like recliners, like just staring at him.
Oh hell no!
And it had the obvious dent, like a dent. And he was like, he would look it up. He didn't know what it was at first.
Yeah.
And then he looked it up, and then that book popped up, the like Dear David.
Yeah.
And he was just saying like, is that what's haunting me?
Yeah.
And then he said it just got worse once he figured out what was like fucking with him. It just like enhanced, like the whole operation just got much worse for him.
Yeah.
He said that like there's like, I mean, I don't think he experienced it, but there was footage, like camera footage of like him, and you can see like the figure of Dear David like on the roof falling towards, like you can see like it took like a picture of Dear David falling from the ceiling towards the guy where he was sleeping, like he was midair. And one of the other pictures, which gave me like fucking goosebumps, it could be fake, I don't know if this is true or not, but one of the other pictures was that Dear David figure or person, whatever, was by the camera, and you can see his head, like if I like pulled up to the camera and I put my hand like super close, you can see like the outline of my hand, but you can see Dear David, you can see his head, and you can see like the hairs.
Jesus.
It looked like an actual human being, like was like walking to the camera.
Yeah.
You don't see the face, but you can see like the head figure.
Yeah.
And you can see the dude sleeping in the background. And I was like, bro, that's fucking scary, bro. Dear David, man, that's kind of scary. That's some scary shit. We've been talking about nothing but scary stories, bro. I'm about to
pray tonight, dude.
Yeah,
like,
you better, bro. When you leave, don't forget to give me some holy water.
Yeah.
I'm about to put some all over my fucking room.
About to bless the Glock tonight, dude. Just fucking douse it on there.
Each
like,
round, she loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. Nah, but fucking yeah, that was a scary thing. I remember when I watched it with my friends, we like looked at each other and I was like, yeah, all the videos we seen, that was pretty fucking scary. Like we were just like, we're at the end of the video, and I totally forgot to say it. But welcome to another Doozy Podcast episode.
Oh,
yeah, we're literally like almost 2 hours in, and I totally forgot about the fucking intro.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome guys to another episode of Doozy Podcast. This is our 3rd episode. This is our friend. Last name, we'll call him Barrett. First name, government. We'll keep it classified. Nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, this is Barrett. Welcome, Barrett. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
We've just been having a good conversation. Yeah, I was supposed to do this intro an hour and a half ago, but just because this conversation was cooked up with fucking scary shit, we just kind of were rolling. So this is kind of another spooky episode. It just always fucking happens. It's Friday, July 21st, and I record today and also record tomorrow. So it's gonna be a busy week. So hopefully, once this video comes out, which I'm trying to shoot for Friday next week, the next following Friday we'll drop another video. So 2 back-to-back videos, which is kind of cool. So like I say on social media all the time, if you guys want to be on an episode, just literally hit me up. I literally told this dude about it, and then he was just like, yeah, let's do it. And here he is now, just having a good conversation. It's kind of cool just to kind of like, just kind of talk and sit down and just enjoy the moment, you know, kind of take a break from what you have going on in your actual life. Same thing here too. Like, I mean, I don't really got much going on. I say early in the episode, but there's nothing wrong with sitting down and just having a good conversation about fucking scary shit or fucking the military. Sometimes you need that just to keep yourself sane, you know. So shout out Barrett for being here today. And yeah, I can't believe I just skipped the fucking intro. I just like totally, I was like, bro, I feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, welcome to another Doozy Podcast episode. But yeah, we just been going off. yeah, a lot of scary shit. We talk about a lot of shit in this episode, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. I appreciate you coming out, man. I know it wasn't that much of a drive, but I still appreciate you. Wasting some time of your day to come kick it with me for a little bit.
I wouldn't call it a waste, man.
Yes, sir. But I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much for being on this episode. And if people come in this episode thinking, or they're coming into this episode like not feeling scared. Hopefully these stories kind of like get your blood boiling, and you have this conversation. You talk to your significant other, your friends, your family. Like, yeah, did you ever see a ghost growing up? Like, have those convos with your family, because they actually can be kind of interesting, and you never know what's going on. So, yeah, I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it, Barrett, for you coming out today. This is the 3rd episode, and there's so many more coming out. So, yeah, I appreciate y'all for showing love. And, yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. I feel like most of my episodes have been kind of like spooky. Yeah, I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys so much. And peace.